Swin Cash, I call her Swin Cash. Swin Cash, I call her Swin Cash. Swin Cash, I call her Swin Cash. Swin Cash, I call her.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Swin Cash, and this is She's Got Time. Well, this is episode 8, and I'm super excited for y'all to always join us. I never take that for granted. It is humbling, and I thank you and really, really appreciate the support. I want to make sure that I encourage you to follow us on all social media platforms at She's Got Time. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're out there. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel as well at She's Got Time. Now, y'all know I love to hear from you in the comments, so make sure you're not only liking, but commenting below on the different episodes that we try to put out there, and make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel at She's Got Time. Again, you also can email us. Some of y'all like to email or you like to drop into the DMs. I prefer you email us though. Our email address is swingottime@gmail.com. Now look, we have a really fun packed show for y'all today. We have Alicia J, who is a blogger, entrepreneur, a lot of different things going on in her life. You can follow her on social media as well at Tall Swag. So before we get to that, y'all know we always got to start off with the week that was, the rewind. So this past week for me has been very, very interesting. It was very intense as well. A lot of different projects in the pipeline. As you know, we continue to kind of get our vision board, our goals, and figure out what it is that we want to be doing for this year, as I continue to encourage you all to do that as well. But this was an intense week for me from a work standpoint, just trying to map out what are some of the projects that I'm passionate about, things that I want to do, and at the same time negotiating. So that can always be a task. But one of the things that I learned this past week is to always negotiate your worth. And I had a situation that came up this week where I was ready to walk away from the table if I if we weren't able to come to an agreement on what I felt not only my compensation but package should be for a project that I wanted to work on. Well, I will tell you that at the end of the day, we were able to get that deal done. And I felt really, really good about it because I felt that that was that one time. Sometimes people can't negotiate. You have to take what's on the table. But if you have the ability to negotiate and be in a position I always encourage people to do that. So this week was very intense for me, but at the end of the week, I'm feeling really, really good about it. So I want to encourage you. That was kind of my message this past week, is to negotiate your worth. So I am super excited to have our guest on the show today, and her name is Alicia J, who needs no introduction. If you follow her on social media, her tag is at Tall Swag. Alicia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we kind of dive into it, because I have a lot of questions right here for you, I just want to kind of give our fans an opportunity to just learn a little bit more about you. So I wanted to read kind of a little bit of your bio to give them an introduction, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of expand on that a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, Alicia J has overcome many challenges to stand tall in her truth. From bullying to depression, she has used every roadblock to build a bridge to empower herself and also others. As a teen, Alicia endured ridicule for both her race and her height. And yes, Alicia J is 6'6". She believed the lies and for many years hated who she was. Over time, she built her self-esteem and now shares her faith-built story with anyone that she can. She created Tall Swag to show others how to follow their dreams by standing tall every day in every way. Alicia is a blogger, a writer, an entrepreneur, a speaker, broadcaster, model, and designer, and it goes on and on and on. And of course, some of you may have seen her. Most recently, she starred and told her story and shared with other cast member on TLC's hit show, My Giant Life. So Alicia, now I know that was a lot right there, but can you just kind of tell us how you were able to evolve, as it said earlier, going through a lot of different things, kind of your life as a young child, when you talk about being ridiculed for your height, beautiful at 6'6" right now, but obviously as a young child, I'm pretty sure that wasn't as easy for you.
Yeah, well, I was always head and shoulders above the rest. I think a lot of tall women can relate. And people are always kind of singling you out because they don't know how to take your height. It's something that's different. And so when they see you, they react in totally different ways. Like, I could go through all the ways that they have reacted to me over the years, but when I was, growing up, it was really hard because you don't really even know who you are when you're growing up. And then you have these outside people giving definitions of you like, Jolly Green Giant, all of these ridiculous names. And then, I also had the whole race aspect as well. I was in a predominantly white school, and not only was I tall, I was black, I had natural hair, and so I pretty much got bullied from every way you could possibly get bullied.
And I just want to jump in right there because I think that's so important, especially for a lot of the moms and women who have kids right now who may be going through different things, whether it's bullying for how they look, their height, for a number of different things. Were you able to reach out or talk to your parents or anyone about what was happening to you at school?
Yes, my parents were there for me throughout the whole entire thing, and they tried to help as much as they could. And, I even talked to them about why didn't they take me out to school, but they really wanted me to see what the real world was like. When you're sheltered and you don't go through things, like, it doesn't really build your character, and you're kind of naive about things, and they wanted to make sure that even though they went in and talked to the school endless times, there was even an incident where my teacher would bring me up in front of the class and tell how bad my spelling scores were, and only me.
Wow.
And so they would, yeah. And so they would go in and, of course she would deny it. And then other kids in the class started complaining about it. And that's when she was ultimately fired. But, I actually agree with my parents. Like, I'm so incredibly glad that they gave me a real world view because it prepared me for so many of the things that I'm going through now.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would tell parents is that it's great for you to be there for your child. And it's a beautiful thing, but that doesn't necessarily build them up because it's kind of hard when it's coming from your parents. You're supposed to love them,
Right.
Like when they say things to you, it's like, that's my parents. They're going to say that. So it's kind of hard to believe it and take it. So what I would tell the parents to do is find somebody to be a mentor for their child that has the same attributes as them or has gone through the same thing. Because it's far different when you see somebody that isn't supposed to do those things for you, if that makes sense. And that's one of the reasons why I created Tall Swag, because I wanted a space where people could go to see someone that truly has been through it and stands tall every day in every way.
Absolutely. And that's what you mean. You hit it. The next question I had was why kind of you created Tall Swag, your blog, and then also how that was able to help you parlay into other things that you're even doing now.
Yeah, so I've always had a lot of goals and aspirations, and I've always had a lot of people that have told me no. From one way or another, they've said, you're too tall, you're too black, you're too, I could go down the line of the things that people have told me that I'm too much of. But I know that at the end of the day, all of them are gifts. Every single thing that I have was created by God. He specifically made me this way. And so I know that they're gifts. And I've learned that they're gifts over time. Well, and so that's one of the reasons why I created Tall Swag is to show people that. You were created for a specific reason. You have things that nobody else has. And I believe that I show that every day on Tall Swag. But another reason why I started it straight up is clothing. It's so hard.
Girl, don't we all have these issues? But I know, yeah. I laugh all the time because even girlfriends of mine or teammates of mine, I would be complaining, and obviously I'm 6'1", so it's not like I have as big a problem, but still I have an issue. So I would look over and be like, yeah, I need to shut up right now. And I'm talking about shoes, issues, and clothing. But obviously for you at 6'6", that's a whole nother layer of yeah, there's more issue here than just you.
Absolutely. And tall women are so underrepresented in the fashion industry. It's unbelievable. I think there's something like we have 2% of the industry. And that's crazy because number one, women come in all shapes and sizes, and we're beautiful in every way. So it should reflect that in the fashion world. It shouldn't be impossible for us to walk into a store and come out with a full fit. And that can't happen, like 9 times out of 10. But I also think that clothing, when it fits right and you feel good, you feel better about yourself. It's not your self-esteem, but it's a tool that helps you realize it. And so it's so important, and that's one of the things that I show all the time on Tall Swag is, yeah, it's hard to find clothes, but here is where you can go.
And
this, that, and the other.
Right, and I love how on Tall Swag, like, you're rocking different styles, and it's not like, oh, I have to go and buy designer this, and it has to be at this price point. You rep things in a way where it's like, I'm the everyday woman, and I can make this outfit. My mom used to tell me all the time, like, it does not matter how much it costs, the clothing, the shoes, or anything else. It matters who is rocking it, because you can make a $2 outfit look like it was a $2,000 outfit. And I feel like you have that swag, and people really look to you for that, to kind of be that role model, that voice in that space that is so underserved, like you said.
Yeah, I'm very cognizant of that because I know I don't have money for all that. So I'm not going to sit here and be fake and wear all this designer stuff and everything. I mean, one day possibly, but right now that's not the way it is. So I'm not going to be, on my blog showing that, but you're absolutely right, and your mom's absolutely right, that, style has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with expression. So the way you feel, dress like it, no matter what it is. I don't care if people say you have one type of style. Surprise them one day. Like, if you feel like you want to wear something that's not necessarily ordinary, wear it. Because what is ordinary anyway? I have a problem with that. Like, people like to put labels on everything, and really, there shouldn't be. So, when it comes to style, I do, I just wear what I would wear, basically, and rock it out. So, I appreciate that.
One of the things I wanted to say is that I love the fact that that you also take the time to kind of share your whole personal story as well. Can you just, I mean, it's so funny because I love the fact that you're not only a woman that has this confidence about you, you're also very confident when speaking about your faith. And was that something that was instilled in you at a young age? And where do you stand right now when it comes to going into relationships or dating, making sure that you still are not you still are staying true to your values, even in a society today that maybe look at you as kind of a fish out of water, some people would say?
Right. So I definitely share my story because, number one, that's who I am, and I would never want to hold it back. And I really believe that we're built to share our stories, and we can change a lot in sharing our stories. But Christianity has been something that has been instilled in me from a young age, and I can't do anything without God. That's how I feel. I mean, He goes before me, He's beside me, He's got my back. Like, God is the reason for everything, and He's the one blazing my path. So I can't do anything without Him. And I just try to glorify Him in every way that I can. Do I come up short? Absolutely.
We all do. We all
do. But I strive to do that. And one of the ways is, I'm waiting for my husband. And a lot of people look at me crazy when I say that because, our society doesn't really present it as an option anymore. It's just not there. And in no way do I ever go and say, hey, you guys should be virgins, because that is not what my message is. And I believe you should pick what you want to pick and do what you want to do. But for me, that is my story and what I want to do. And so if I present it and someone hears it and thinks, wow, it's still an option, that's great.
Right.
That's why I talk about it. I also like to be real about it because it's hard. It's not easy. It is not easy. Trust me.
Listen, I commend you, and I definitely want to share with our listeners. For those of you who don't know, I think Alicia J has alluded to it. She is a proud 6'6", beautiful African American woman, and she's also a virgin that is waiting for her husband. And I love that, and I love to say it. I know, I mean, I hope I'm not embarrassing you at all, but I love to
No.
say that because I don't know if there's anybody else out there that's at 6'6", that's a virgin and that's talking about it in the way so eloquently that you do.
Well, number one, I'm not ashamed at all, and but I appreciate all that you just said. I was like, okay, that was good. I'm about to take that clip and just play it somewhere. I don't know, but no, it's funny because everyone calls me a unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I don't think that I am. I think a lot of people just don't want to share that they
Right.
are because it has been so ostracized, kind of, and just forgotten about. Society pushes sex, and that's fine and good, but there are other options out there if you want to do it. And so I just try to show those women out there, those men too.
Right.
Actually, I get a lot of emails from men that there's nothing wrong with waiting. It's actually a beautiful thing, and if you choose to do it, so be like. It's going to be a hard road, but do it.
Right.
You know?
So this is funny because I was watching an interview that you were on, and you made the comment that a guy basically asked you when you were gonna have his NBA baby. And I thought, I thought that was hilarious because I'm like, he did not. But the reality is, like, you not only get ridiculous tall jokes by probably a lot of insecure mini-me's, but you also get asked about, are we gonna be out here breeding babies? Like, well, how do you handle when men come at you sideways?
Girl, it depends on the comment. I'll be honest, it depends. Some guys, you could just tell they're just nervous and they just blurt out anything. I mean, I get all kinds of comments, and I know you've gotten them too in the past, or shoot, you might still get them, but
Girl, I tell them all the time, stay out my DMs, please. Leave me alone.
right.
I'm happy.
Oh, girl, I don't even check my DMs anymore because I just can't handle it. But and I use the block button like so fast. Like, oh, block.
You don't even let them get in there. You like block. Oh yeah, you too.
Yeah.
You get a block, and you get a block.
Exactly. You got to protect your space
Mm-hmm.
because they'll come in there. But yeah, it depends. If somebody's rude, I definitely will set them straight in a very eloquent way because I feel like some people don't even realize that they are being rude, and I don't want to be the one to let it slip by and then them say it again to somebody. Like, I feel like ignorance isn't bliss, so I just let them know. But a lot of times I'll ignore stuff too. But I can't tell you how many times I've been in a club or just out, and someone will get up like on a curb or
Lord help me.
Or something to try and holler at me, and I'm like, totally ruined your chances. And I hope you know that.
The ones I used to hate back in the day when guys used to be like, oh, baby, like, I'll play you one-on-one for your heart. And I'm just like, boy, I only play for money because I definitely know you wouldn't be winning my heart. So next,
okay.
I just got to a point where
I don't want to be embarrassed. Okay.
Right. You just get to a point where it's just like, enough. But you know what? You handle it so well. And I know that it's difficult to be, I mean, it's for me as a woman, obviously as a Christian as well, it's difficult. And we fall short to walk in your faith daily. I think, especially in our society right now, where you see women are being targeted in so many different ways, from people trying to legislate what needs to happen with women's bodies, what they need to be doing, to people not wanting to give us equality, equal pay in work. It just really felt like, to me, in 2018, I really felt like there was an attack that was happening. And so just trying to make sure that I was staying connected with God, like you said, walking before you, beside you, behind you, having him was important for me. For you, and one of the things I wanted to bring up is your job. Like, where you're day to day in a male dominated profession, but you're still being able to hold your own, understanding that you're not going to be someone that's just going to come in and people aren't going to see who you are. So your performance and how you perform on a day-to-day basis, I'm sure, is probably ridiculed or looked at in a certain way. Can you just briefly talk to our fans about kind of what you do with, that team out there out west called the Golden State Warriors, and how you've been able to adjust to being in that space?
Well, I was with the Golden State Warriors for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have since left because I wanted to pursue all of the goals and dreams that I kind of been holding back from while I was working there, because it's a very demanding position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I worked in game operations for 12 years, which is everything that you see that's on the court that's not the actual play of the players. So from the talent to the video components to all of the sponsor activations, everything that you see there, the talent, that's all under game operations. And so I helped to manage that with the game operations team. And it was, and then I transitioned into marketing my last year. It was a great, opportunity. Who can say that they have 3 championship rings?
Yes, you got some hardware.
Huh?
I said you got some hardware there.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I'm very proud of it. And I'm proud of the team because, obviously they're phenomenal, but they're just really upstanding guys as well. So it was great to work, in and around that team. But
so with
at the end of the day, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here because that's amazing, and kudos to you for you're talking about working for a team that's winning championships. You have a job, you love your job, you're there for 12 plus years. What, for women out there right now who are thinking about either changing jobs, following their passions, what made you say, you know what, it's time right now for me to pivot into doing something else? Because that can be scary. You have something that's consistency, not only consistent paycheck, but you also have the ability and room to possibly grow in other aspects of the business. What made you say it's time to pivot?
There were many reasons why, but the main reason was that in my position, I really felt like there wasn't a lot of room to grow. When you're in a winning team, a lot of people stay in those positions, and that's great, as they should. But I wanted to grow in all areas of my life, not only occupationally, but I wanted to grow personally. I know that I have so many gifts that weren't really being used in the position that I was in. And I just said, I prayed for 6 years.
Wow.
If I should leave or not, for 6 years. And God did not tell me to go. He did not move me. And it just came to a point where everything was there and I just took the leap. And it was scary, and it still is. Trust and know. This doesn't mean that I'm not going to get another position. I'm looking for things that are going to foster that growth that I know that I need. But in the meantime, I'm going on acting auditions. I'm booking modeling jobs. I'm working on Tall Slides full time, which has been great. I'm looking at some other areas of entrepreneurship, and it's just been really amazing to see what God is doing in my life.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some hand claps for you right there, because we've talked about on this podcast of not only kind of this year being a season of overflow, but I just felt like coming into this season, it is our time. It's now to kind of step not only into your passion, but also to be able to inspire those around you. And so it's amazing that you said for 6 years you were praying on that thing. 6 years.
Yep.
And you didn't move. A lot of times people, they may pray for a week and they're like, oh, it's time to change. But
right.
You have to, and a lot of people, even if you don't have the same faith, people get it twisted all the time and just feel like, if you're a Christian, you're saying this is what you need to be doing. No, I tell you what my experience are, just like Alicia J, she's sharing her experience, but she waited till she heard and that voice of saying it's time to go. And a lot of times you got to make sure you're prepared for what that next step is. So I'm pretty sure even though you prayed for those 6 years, you were preparing what your vision was. That's what my next question is. Have you, for this year coming up, are you one of those people that you do a vision board or you put goals down? Like, how do you prepare for the year that's ahead, understanding that you're in a new kind of entrepreneurial spirit?
Well, I'm actually looking at my vision board right now as we speak.
Oh, wow.
So I do vision boards. I actually go a little crazy with them. That's a whole other story, but it takes me about 3 days to put mine together. So I want to make sure it's right.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I'm you have to sacrifice for your vision. I think that's something that people don't understand, is that you can write it down, and that's great, and you should. And you should pray about it. You should ask God for it. You should make vision boards. But you also have to do the steps to get to that vision. It's not just going to poof, happen. Like, it's not, your vision isn't just going to come out of nowhere. You have to move your feet and do the work. So even like over those 6 years, I was saving up money for a buffer,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to step out. I was paying off debt, like just doing things that I knew were going to need to happen so when I did take that leap. So when you make those boards, like write down the action steps that are going to get you to that and do something little by little. Like I don't care if it's one thing per day to get to that vision.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And you're big too on self-love and being able to kind of love yourself through situations, obviously new changes. With this new kind of path for you, where just kind of bring us up to speed on where kind of Tall Swag is right now and what you visualize kind of that new business opportunity to be.
Well, Tall Swag right now is primarily, like I said, a style blog, and I want to bring it more into a space where you're looking at different parts of my life, not just style, and learning how to stand tall through the experiences that I've gone through and the experiences that other people have gone through. I'm going to be interviewing people that I think, need to be on the blog, and people need to hear their story. There's going to be an apparel aspect to it eventually. There's so many things that I'm doing to make it big, but I'm very cognizant of this whole influencer movement that's happening. Mm-hmm. And I don't really want to be an influencer because, it's the word influence is taken out of context when it comes to that. I want to make sure that I have influence in someone else's life and show them how to influence their own life through my actions and what I do and what I convey on the blog. But I don't want to be like that influencer that everyone talks about on social media, because that's just not who I am.
Man, let me tell you, sis, oh my goodness, you over here giving a word. Can I tell you over here giving a word? Because I was just saying to a girlfriend of mine, this whole kind of influencer movement where some people are like, oh, you should buy this jacket because I'm wearing it, or you should do this because I'm wearing it. Like, I post things that I actually love or enjoy or they're kind of cool. But I always wonder, I don't want to just influence you to do something. If anything, I want to inspire you to be able to sustain, like you said, whatever it is that you want to do. Do I have the ability to inspire you to go after your passion? Do I have the ability to inspire you to have that confidence or to put that work in to get that new business opportunity? Or for you, Alicia J, it's like, do I have the ability to inspire you that you can take and start your blog and then you can figure out, how do I turn this into a business? How do I monetize this? How do I continue to inspire and grow and have this whole movement? Because when people are listening, whether listening to us on a podcast, whether they're on YouTube listening to us, wherever the case may be, they're trying to get some type of information. Are you planting those seeds that can help somebody? Like, there's no point in me just planting a seed for Swin or you planting a seed for Alicia J. It's about, are we helping people learn how to plant their own seeds and water it?
Yeah. And I truly believe that. What is the thing? If you teach someone to fish,
mm-hmm.
they'll have fish their entire life. And I really, I know it's not said just like that. I said it terribly, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And that's how I truly feel. Like right now, I'm taking leadership training because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing when I'm leading people. I don't want to be one of those people who's just out here just doing whatever. And I just don't want to be that person. I want to make sure that I inspire people to be better, to live their best life, and to literally achieve all the dreams that they want to. I mean, listen, I'm a person who has been held by fear for a lot of my life. I mean, I was in one job for 13 years because I was afraid of stepping out and not having that stability. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to achieve everything that I know God has created me to be in one position. It's just not going to happen. And so, I finally God prompted me to do it, but I finally stepped out on faith and got over that fear. And I'm going to start talking about that more now because I can really say, like, hey, I did this. I think there was a lot of people on social media that tell people, do this and start your blog and do this, but they're in a position to be able to do that without any risk, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's like you have to tell people the real deal, like what's really going on. Like, don't tell me you started all these businesses. I mean, and no shade, because your blessings are your blessings, and you should use those blessings as you have them. But be real about how you got there, because people are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to step out on faith in their own way and in their own dreams, but like properly equip them if you're going to be a person of influence.
Absolutely. No, I definitely hear everything you're saying. And I think it's so important. I'm really happy that you were able to come on She's Got Time and express not only your own views, but also give some inspiration to not only, moms, women who are out there starting businesses, or just women or men that may feel like they're stagnant or they're in place and they're really not sure if it's their time to pivot. I think you've given them something really to think about and ways to go about doing it, because it's not easy. Everybody's path is different, but you have to understand that there could be some times that it's going to be late nights, early mornings. You got to put the work in, like you said, with the vision board, making sure that there's work behind kind of just the end goal. It's so funny. I was listening to this past Sunday, my pastor down in Atlanta, I was watching online, and he talked about how there are sometimes two different type of people. There are people that are pioneers. That pioneers just go and they have the vision and they go out and they're able to get to the goal because they see it, they visualize it, they know how to get the goal. And then there are other people who are settlers, where those people are kind of given the task that once you get to where the pioneers at, on this new frontier, that you're the one that's grinding and doing the work. And sometimes people are lost because there's visionaries, but you also have settlers, and it's like you have to figure out who are you, and if you're both, how does that work together for whatever you're trying to do. And it made me think a lot about kind of whether it's starting a podcast, whether it's like you, whether you're starting a blog, whether you're getting into acting or modeling or anything else. Sometimes you can have that vision, but do you have that settler mentality to put the work in behind it as well?
Yep. And I think, both, like you said, are very, very important. But I also think what's important, and this is something that I'm in the middle of right now, is really asking God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What is your purpose? Because I feel like we can get wrapped up in what our mission is, what we think we should do. But God puts us on this earth for a specific reason. So I just say, give me your vision, Lord, because I know my vision can be, and it's great and it's grand and it's amazing. And that's, I'm going to go after that. But if God gives me a vision for one thing, like I have to go after that because that's why I'm here.
Right.
So I'm very much in the middle of doing that right now because I feel like, being an entrepreneur, you're always going. Like, for example, I'm going to drive to LA at like 4 a.m. because I have an audition tomorrow. There's just certain things that you do as an entrepreneur, as a model, actor, all of that kind of talent that you do to achieve what you're trying to go for. But I need to continually ask God what He wants me to do because I don't want to get in front of Him.
Okay, so for our entrepreneurs that are out there, give me kind of what are a key or two keys that you feel could help them and their business or kind of their next steps into being an entrepreneur if they haven't already become one.
So the first thing is to plan. I could not be doing what I am right now and have the space to be able to build the things that I'm building without having this like cushion that I've built for myself. So you need to plan, do like a 6-month plan, a year plan, whatever you need to do to plan out that financial part. Cause that's like one of the biggest things, right? When you're your own boss, like you have to rely on yourself. Well, we're God to provide for you. So, it's essential that you go into it financially right. That's just my opinion. Some people would say, just go for it and do it. And I'm sure that works as well. But for me, personally, I would suggest to set yourself up right to pursue your dreams.
Right.
So that would be one. Number 2 is just, I have it up on my wall right now. Faith over feelings.
Say that again. Say that again now.
Faith over feelings.
Ah.
When you step out, it is scary. There are things that are going to happen that you weren't like accounting for. People are going to think you're crazy. You're going to lose friends. I mean, there's just things that happen with growth. So that's a huge growth step when you step out. There are things that are going to happen, but you have to harness those feelings and just know that God's got you and you're going to be successful. Just have that faith over those feelings.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And what is maybe a hard lesson that you've learned along the way that you can say to somebody else out there, look, I learned this and yeah, it sucked, but you don't have to make the same mistake. Or maybe not even a mistake, but I learned the hard way, and here's a bit of advice I have for you with this.
Man, how many things can I go through right
now? Look, we all probably have like a list of like, oh goodness. But is there something that you're just like, you know what? I wish somebody would have told me this beforehand, and yeah, I might have bumped my head or I learned, but hopefully, you'll be prepared or have your eyes wide open if this comes about in your kind of grind and next step.
So this is probably something that people have already heard, but I just have to say it again. Really trust someone's actions over their words. Because they're going to tell you every single time who they are. And I'm a person who I just really care about people and I want them to be all good and all like, do whatever I can to make sure that people are okay and that they, I'm a very people-pleasing person. But people that don't show you action will get you with those words when you're that type of person. Because you're like, well, I know that they're good or I know that they're going to be okay or whatever. And it's like, no, take note of what they're showing you and not what they're telling you.
Absolutely. Well, Alicia J., I appreciate you joining us on this podcast, She's Got Time. I know we went a little bit over, but it was just so good, and I felt like you were just pouring in, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you the time to really share. Before we get out of here, can you definitely give our audience here on She's Got Time kind of where they can find you as far as we know at Tall Swag, obviously on IG, on social media platforms, and also they can follow your blog. But is there anything else you have coming up that you love our fans to make sure they're following you and being able to see kind of your journey into this next phase of life?
Well, I'm developing a YouTube channel, so I have a couple videos up there right now, but I'm really developing different content and trying to be very thoughtful about what I'm going to put together. So I will be launching that soon, and you can just find me. Tall Swag is the channel on that too. So I'll be doing that. I'm crafting a podcast as well.
Yay! Can't wait.
So I just don't know what the angle is yet. I have a co-host. We're working on it. We're actually working on getting funding right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be showing that too. There's some projects that I can't really talk about, but if you just follow Tall Swag, you will see everything unfold the way that it should.
Yes.
But I also want to tell you thank you for having me on, but also for your example as well. I've been following you, and I'm inspired by everything that you do. So,
thank you
for that.
Thank you
for that inspiration.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am a firm believer that it's not only a sisterhood of women, that we have to continue to be the example that we want our younger daughters, nieces, and everyone else to see. And so I feel like having positive vibes and being able to share with one another and actually call a spade and still be able to walk in your truth is, I think, is a good thing. And I think I'm really just excited just for kind of your journey and I could hear in your voice and you sharing with us that there is so much more to come. And so I want to thank you again. Again, I want to make sure you all know that you can follow her at Tall Swag. Make sure you're subscribing. Go to the YouTube channel as well. Her name is Alicia J. She is 6'6". So guys, if you're out there, you got faith in your life and you're trying to find that woman that's a beautiful, tall, African American sister who also has the ability to talk to you about hoops, but also talk to you about her faith, then you make sure that you go and you check out Alicia J. But you better come correct, because if you're talking about these NBA babies, she is definitely not having it. All right, guys?
Yes. I'm not an egg factory over here. No egg factory.
No, she wants a husband, and it needs to be somebody who I feel that this woman is a gem. And so if there's somebody that's going to have and be worthy of putting a ring on her finger, I hope that you do come correct, because you definitely deserve it, Alicia. And thanks again for joining us on She's Got Time.
No, thank you. And thank you for gassing me up right there.
Hey, girl, you know we got to do what we got to do. Hey. All right, take care.
All right, you too.
So again, I want to thank Alicia J for joining us on She's Got Time. What an amazing interview she was, right? Just kind of sharing her personal and professional story with us. And I love the fact that she said, you know what? I'm waiting for my king to find me, and holding true to her values. Now, some of you out there, you may have found your kings and queens already. So I want to kind of give you a little bit of information and an opportunity as you may be engaged and getting ready for a wedding. Well, check this out, y'all. So Zola.com is a wedding website. It's easy way for you to plan your wedding and your registry housed all in one. Now, think about this. It's a free website at that. You can get easy designs, you can get personalized invitations, whatever the case may be. You have it all housed at Zola.com. Now, again, you also can build your dream registry where there's an opportunity for your guests to have free shipping, free returns. I mean, that is amazing if you're a person that knows how much a wedding costs, because trust me, I know. My husband and I a few years ago went through it, and we had a lot of different costs that occur. But if you can find a way to make it easier, then here you go. Now, let me give you the information. You can go to Zola.com/She's Got Time. Again, that's Zola, ZOLA.com/She's Got Time. And make sure, now listen to this, make sure you're paying attention that you're using the code She's Got Time. So you will be able to get $50 off your registry if you go to Zola.com/She's Got Time right now. Register your wedding, get free shipping, free returns, all that other good stuff. Again, congratulations to Alicia J. Congratulations to all you out there that may be in the process of getting married and your big day coming soon and you found your king or your queen. Now, before we get out of here, you know one of my favorite parts of the show is who needs to take a seat, take a bow, or level up and straighten their crown. This week, we have to talk about who needs to take a seat. Well, that's an easy one. If you've been looking around and paying attention to what's happening across our country, every single person that is responsible for this government shutdown needs to take a seat. You know who you are. I don't have to get into it. We know exactly who's responsible for this government shutdown. My husband and I had an opportunity to travel out of the country, and we came back through. We were coming back through customs and had an opportunity to have an encounter with a TSA agent who shared kind of a little bit of her story with me, saying how she was about to get furloughed and all these different things were happening. And I just really felt bad because these people have to come to work in a stressful time in an environment when it doesn't have to happen. Okay, you're trying to keep people out of the country and you're worrying about a wall, and we're not worrying about the people that are already here in America. And so for all our government officials who have a hand in this, you need to take a seat, because unfortunately you are responsible for the stress, the anxiety, and a lot of people having to go through not only the holidays, but now the stress level of not collecting a paycheck. So yeah, take a seat. Who needs to take a bow? Miss Alicia J. You can find her on social media at Tall Swag. You need to take a bow, because I know it is very difficult to be not only an African American woman at 6'6" and a virgin, but somebody that stays true to your faith and unapologetic about talking about your journey and your walk. So take a bow, because you are rare. I know you said on the show that sometimes people like to call you a unicorn. No, I just call you a queen, because sometimes it takes queens to uplift other queens. And so you can definitely take a bow. Thanks, Alicia J, for joining us on She's Got Time. And who needs to level up and straighten their crown? Well, this week, I'm going to give it to my king. And that is my husband, who has been being everything and anything that I've needed him to be, and to be a support system for me as I go off into all these different ventures and explore some of my passions. But I want you to level up and straighten your crown, king, because it's your birthday week and you're a Capricorn, and I'm sure you're going to celebrate and enjoy it. And I am so happy to be your wife and proud of who you are. So level up and straighten your crown. And lastly, of course, our positive note. What is our positive note this week? Our positive note is, don't hate things that are different. Don't hate things that are different, but try to understand people's differences and find your common ground. Find the common ground between you and someone else that you may think has a different religion, a different race, who even likes different food than you. That is my positive note. That's how we continue to make the small change into a big change, because trust me, right now in America, we all need it. All right, thank you again for joining us on She's Got Time. Make sure to follow us on all those social media platforms at She's Got Time. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, I'm always here for y'all, because I love it. Swing Cash. They call her Swing Cash. We'll see y'all next time.
Swing Cash, I call her Swing Cash. Swing Cash.